It has become clear to me that Jordan Peterson has never worked a real job before. Here's why. Welcome to the collapse experiment. If you enjoy this video, I think I started this correctly this time, please like and subscribe, because currently like 83% of you are coming back and watching my stuff and not clicking the little thingy, mabob, the doomahickey, whatchamacallit. I don't know. I'm not very tech savvy. I got up to like typewriters and kind of just quit there. I even have trouble with this weird Star Trek looking thing that I'm looking at right now. So, Jordan Peterson. I was watching a video, I believe it was yesterday, and it had a clip from him talking about how if you're not happy with your job or where you're at in your life, that perhaps what you need to do is work harder at what it is that you're doing to see where you could be 6 months from now, a year from now. Like, if you actually did better at your job, like what you could accomplish. Okay, first of all, this isn't the first time that I've heard this, right? I came from a culture where the harder you work, the more that you earn. The harder you work, the further you get. The farther up the ladder you can go. You just need to keep working harder. And if there's one thing I have learned since I started working back in 1996, when I was a sophomore in high school, is that the harder you work, the more work you end up doing to cover for other people. And that's one of the many things that I learned about if you work harder, maybe you'll get something in return. More work is what you get. You get more work. And I know Jordan Peterson's history. I know that when he was younger, that he ended up, one of his first jobs was working in a restaurant. Me too. He started out as the dishwasher, and then eventually he moved up to being cook. That is a completely different environment from most other jobs out there. If you're in a restaurant, yeah, the reason that you're working as the dishwasher, for one, to see how much shit you're willing to put up with, and two, if you're there and you haven't quit in like 2 weeks, yeah, they want to keep you around. You show up. Okay, so now all of a sudden you're working as a line cook and you're learning how to do this stuff. And you're learning how to do the things on the grill. And you work in the deep fryer. I understand all of this. That does not apply to most other places, okay? When I worked at the supermarket, and basically my job title was bagger. I was the guy at the end of the line that would bag all the groceries and put it in the cart. And but primarily the work was, especially with the Meijer that I worked at, was cart retrieval. We had one of the busiest Meijers in all of Michigan. It was insane. And it was because we catered not just to Kalamazoo and Portage, we catered to all the suburbs around it. Galesburg, Vicksburg, you name it, like they were coming to that Meijer to shop for groceries. So on a Friday, on a Saturday, on a Sunday. Sunday was the freaking worst because the ads came out and everybody's going there to get the deals. So the parking lot is not flat. The parking lot is an uphill battle to the store. So when you're putting together 10, 15, 20 carts and you're pushing it uphill to restock the main entrance so that people can grab their carts, that is physical labor. And that's what I ended up doing because I was into like weightlifting and stuff at the time. And Next thing I know, all the football players are like, Jesus Christ, dude, how'd your calves get like that? What the fuck are you doing at home? I work down the street, like work. Like they're asking, what machine are you using at the gym? I'm like, I can't afford a gym. I have like the cheapest weight set in the basement. I even have some of those sand filled thingies. No, you wanna have big calves? Push like 20 to 30 carts uphill until you get to that store, and you can't stop. You stop, those little bastards are rolling back. So what ends up happening? Well, you end up pushing more stuff than the slackers. Are you getting more vacation time? Are your days off being approved when you put in for them? No. Are you getting a pay raise? No. And that was when I started learning, like, especially when Clinton, if you remember Clinton, he upped the minimum wage. It was $4.15 an hour. Then it got raised to $5.15 an hour. Then it was raised from $5.15 to I think $5.45, something like that. So around the time that this change started happening, I was reaching my 2 year point at Meyer, and these new people are getting hired in, but they're getting hired in starting out at 5.15. Well, all the raises I had previously got me up to 5.15. And next thing you know, these people that were there like 3 months, 6 months, they're getting these raises for sticking around, and they're not making 5.15. They're making 5.50, 5.75, and I'm sitting there still making 5.15, going, "What the is this? Like, what the? I've been here 2 years. I understand the government raised the rate, but why is my rate not being adjusted for the time I've already been here?" Well, because at the time, blah blah blah. I don't give a shit. Hey, well, when you're here after 2 years, you get 2 weeks of vacation. My average paycheck for working a week, because they paid you weekly, was $110, and that was at 30 some hours. Working, going to school, high school, and I was getting 30 some hours. So $110. And then when I actually went on vacation, when I took my week vacation, my paycheck for that week that was supposed to compensate me for that week off, what I normally would have gotten paid, was only $75. And I was like, what is this? This isn't what I normally bring home. How this is not vacation pay. I don't know what the hell this is. This is bullshit, is what this is. So I've had several other jobs since then, like the hospital, working at the hospital. You work harder. There's no ladder. There's nowhere to go up. They changed all that. I had supervisors that worked there. They weren't my supervisor. They were under like other people. There's one for the floor techs. There's one that supervised over another area. And these were people that had my job previously and worked their way up the ladder in the company the way it used to be. They understand how this process goes. They know what to look for like good employees to do their job, what needs to be done. And instead, the hospital started switching over to, we only want college graduates. And then you get these people in, and they have no idea what's going on. And they're getting these numbers sent to them saying, like, you need to reduce this, and why isn't this up? And they don't even know how anything operates. So they're just running around saying, like, we're not going to do that anymore. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, we've always done it this way. It's for these reasons. I don't care what the reasons are. We need these numbers down. Oh, okay. Weird. Next thing you know, the charge nurse is making a phone call down into the basement and saying, "Why the did you tell them to do this? This is not okay. You understand why we do this?" And then we're back to doing what we're doing. This shit happens all the time, and it's always with these college graduates that have never had a fucking job before. So, Jordan Peterson, work harder. Look to see where you might be in 6 months. Yeah, the same fucking job, doing more stuff, not making any more money, no ladder to go anywhere. The one thing I noticed and I realized over the years is that if you have a good work ethic, if you look at your position and you say, I want to do this, I want to do it to the best of my ability for the most reward I can possibly get. The only way you're going to get the maximized results of what that reward is if you work for yourself. If you work for someone else, they're going to pocket that money. You're not going to see shit. And they have no problem with you walking out the door. That is the reality. That is how these companies operate. And that's how one of my 2 jobs is functioning right now. I have 2 jobs. I just got a raise with one of them. The other one, they don't tell us a damn thing. They basically look at us like, why haven't you quit yet? That's pretty much the stare that we get on my shift at my other job. Because that shift it's notorious for turnaround. All management does is bitch about like your hours, you're over your hours. You want us to wash the trucks. You want us to do this stuff. You handed this job to this person, but this person said that they didn't feel comfortable doing it. So instead of telling them it's their position and their job that they applied for and they won on a bid when it was posted, they applied for this job knowing they had to do this thing. But instead of having them do the thing that they're supposed to be doing to cut our hours so you stop bitching at us, you give it back to us and continue to bitch about our hours. Does Jordan Peterson see what happens when you take on more responsibility? Nobody gives a shit, and it's just more excuses for people to yell at you. That's all that it is. I don't know in what reality. It sounds nice. It sounds like something a philosophy professor would tell their students, kind of like the positive side of communism, or how socialism would work if we just did it the right way. That is what Jordan Peterson is telling people. Unless you apply what he's saying to you, working for yourself, where you reap the benefits, and the harder you work, the more you reap, you're not going to see shit on the outside world. Not with your office job, not with your manual labor job. It doesn't happen. And if he's looking back on, when I worked in the kitchen, yeah, I've been there. I've been there, and there's still no reward. There's none. You have more responsibility. You end up cooking more of the meals than anybody else, which means that if there's a complaint, it's blamed on you. You right there. Doesn't matter if you're outside on your smoke toke, your whatever break out back during that time. No. Like, who's cooking in the kitchen? I am. You wanna explain why this hamburger is burnt to shit? I didn't cook that. You just said you were cooking. Yeah, but don't want to hear it. Don't fucking do this again. That's what's gonna happen. And then you're gonna look over at Bob or Antoine or James or Jordan or whoever the fuck was covering the grill and say, "Why'd you burn the shit out of that burger?" Man, you was taking too long out back. Fuck that. You ain't blaming me for that shit. You know I don't know how to cook worth a damn. These are the stories you do not hear from Jordan Peterson. Don't really hear too many success stories either. Like, he makes these examples. I haven't really heard too many people come back and say, you know, I did that. I went to my crummy job and I actually went and I outperformed everybody. Oh, well, how'd you do? I'm still there. And I'm still getting the same paychecks. And now they're talking about layoffs. And I'm really wondering, well, you know what you should do is you got to make sure that they understand that you're the valuable employee. Nope, that's not how it works either. Like when they do layoffs, it's seniority. They wish they could go by who's the crummiest employee. But in order to keep things fair and to make sure that lawsuits don't happen, no, they're going to say who started where. Well, Bob, who's been here 30 some years, he's safe. They might be able to push him out the door if they give him like an early retirement package. But Bob's still got 10 years. Bob's going to stick around. Then you look at the bottom of the ladder. Well, Jimmy's doing really good. He's been here 2 years, and Jimmy's production is way up. And then we've got Carl, who's been here 5 years. Carl's not so great, but he's got the seniority. Jimmy's going out the door, and it doesn't matter how hard he works. So the lesson here, well, for one, perhaps you shouldn't learn workplace lessons from a college professor who hasn't really had a real job in 30, 40 years. How old is Jordan Peterson? Because a lot of that wisdom, a lot of that stuff he's saying does not apply to where we work today. Because where we work today, for one, he's from Canada. Not much of a difference, but still. The economy is different. The workplace is different. The bosses are different. DEI is different. Woke assholes with green hair is different. There's a lot of different things going on from the experience he's talking about. So, before you decide to go to work and give it your all, you may want to consider that. If you really want to have your piece of the pie, you want the results from your work, you really need to figure out how to do it for yourself. That's my experience. That's my suggestion. Go ahead, listen to Jordan Peterson. I just know from my experience, it's a world of hurt. You're going to become a little more freaking jaded like I am, and you're just going to hate the world more. It's not a good time. You end up in that little happy suit, sitting in the corner. Why are the walls padded? I hate this place. Oh shit, they're bringing me meds again. Keep on typing.